Hello, guys, and welcome Behind the Bunker Monday night, episode 507, podcast number 538. Thank you guys for joining me, and welcome to all of our new podcast listeners, wherever you guys are all coming from. Thank you so much for joining in, and if you're wondering why people are, or how people are finding us, our podcast is available anywhere. All you have to do is go to any podcast server and, type in Behind the Bunker, and you'll find us. Speaking of that, I wanted to show you guys this. This comes in every few hours. It says, "Congratulations, your podcast gained another follower," and then it says their name, and away we go. So we've seen a lot of those in the last couple of weeks, and we also get here's an app that follows us. It's called Podbean. And someone had commented on Podbean. I guess that's where he listened to. He's back listening to podcast OG number 16 and says, "Frickin' funny poem." So that must have been back when Jamie King was reading poetry online. So thank you to all of you that are coming in. And the best thing you can possibly do for us, if you are listening to us on our podcast, go to iTunes and give us a comment, give us a 5-star rating, or whatever you guys feel is necessary, because that definitely helps, and it seems to be getting us into whatever algorithm is getting us out there. So again, thank you so much for listening to us. And if you're listening to us on Facebook, thank you for joining us. We're also live on YouTube right now as well. It's not just me that's here. I also have we have Gavin Sharma from TerraTech Industries.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. It is going to be an incredible show. This is 507. It's a special one, I guess. But thank you for joining us. And again, as my good friend Todd said, make sure you hit that like and share so everybody knows what you do on a Monday night. And let's trap in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, they're all special. Just like Josh Zuby-Zabrikis.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of special. It's like the special, you know?
Like Special K, like me.
Special Kimson?
Special Kimson.
There we go.
Specialist Kimson. There you go.
And speaking of Special K, we have Joe Kimson all the way from Flag Raiders Paintball.
Hey, greetings and thanks for tuning in. Yes, Flag Raiders Paintball is really just a myth right now. It's a locationless entity floating around the paintballs. But fortunately, no one in Ontario is playing paintball, or unfortunately, so we are working a way to get you guys to shoot each other. So that's all I got.
So stay tuned. More to come. Hopefully in the close future we'll be able to say some stuff. So tonight, guys, do you think paintball is on the rise, or is it on the way out? And we asked you guys on social media your thoughts, and we're going to get to that just a little while later on in the show. We're going to be watching your live comments as well, so we'll be able to interact with you that way. Let's see, a couple things in paintball. Did you guys see AirUp's new bunkers that they did for a company called High Exposure? I don't know if it's for paintball per se, but pretty neat looking like upside down archway. I know it's not an NXL bunker, and you know what, get over it, but this is something neat. That would be kind of cool to play.
It would be. You could turn it upside down if you wanted to. It'd be like a castle wall. It'd be kind of cool.
What would you call that? We used to call the X, the underneath the X, the doggy door. Maybe you could call that the dog house.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Exalt, ladies and gentlemen.
Tunnel.
Limited edition Warhawk tank covers are now available at Exalt. Make sure you guys check them out. Ask your local retail for it, as well as their barbershop shirts. Check them out. And the new EMEC, or EMF 100, the ignition trigger. Look at that. Pretty fancy. If you guys are looking for an upgrade, we complain all the time on the show that there's never any good upgrades for guns, and here you go. They're starting to come back. Check out Exalt for that. As well as this, we've told you about it before, but we're going to tell you about it again, the universal fill nipple covers. Keep that dust, keep that debris, keep that grossness out of your tank and your fill nipple by buying one of those. And they're live at most local retail stores as well. Paintball extravaganza, ladies and gentlemen. We are big supporters of it. And here's some correspondence from Paintball extravaganza. They would like to know, if we have time on Monday's show, can we ask for suggestions for the location of the 2022 event? This world just got COVID crazy. All of the areas in the U.S. filled up for February already. He says never had a problem like this in 15 years that he's tried running events. And everybody's asking super duper top dollar. So not only is everything sold out already for February in the areas that he's been looking, but the money value's been going up. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I guess we've been without shows for a year and a half. Trade shows are going to have to come back too. Where do we want to see it?
Outside of Las Vegas. So we can go out to the desert and pop off EG smoke all day long.
Yeah, Vegas would be fun. But if you're not in Vegas, are you really still in Vegas, though?
It's in Vegas. It's just on the outside, wherever EG's located.
Yeah. I don't
Or
know.
like Hawaii or Puerto Rico, just so I can get a little beach vacation in as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Washington would be
U.S.
good.
Virgin Islands, whatever.
I'd still like to see Dallas because I thought that was good, or San Antonio. Josh, any thoughts?
I would very much enjoy it if it went back to that Xerox Center. It was
Yeah.
like the Category 5 hurricane bunker building thing. That was awesome.
Charles Holton says New England. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cold, and I guess we're inside anyway. New England, somewhere
could-
where we can drive would be good.
Yeah.
You can warm up with chowder.
Chowder.
What about
How
what
about-
about Miami?
Ooh.
It would be warm. You'd have girls wearing bikinis.
Maybe Pitbull could MC.
I was trying to think of some lyrics. Yeah. Oregon was too far away. The flights to Oregon are tough. Lebanon, says Steve Abar.
If Oregon's too far, Lebanon, out of the question. It's slightly farther away than Oregon.
Oh, Detroit. That
Somewhere-
would be reasonable.
Somewhere in
That'd be too
Michigan, you
terrible.
could fly into Detroit. Everyone. Can
I think
get
if you did a Detroit location, they would probably pay you to come. There'd be probably some incentives there. The hotels would be cheap. Detroit used to be quite beautiful. I'm sure it still is.
What
Just
about
not as populated.
What about Indiana? Somewhere around Fort Wayne. Then you've got Tippmann there, First Strike's there.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That's a good
hub as
point.
Well.
Ryan McGee says Indianapolis, and Elliot Darno says Raleigh and Missouri. It'll be a long, cold day in hell before I recognize. Yeah. But Missouri would be good. We've had problems in Missouri last time we traveled in February. The weather was pretty terrible there. I don't know if that'd be a good place to go. And he's referring to Lebanon, Ohio, says Scott.
No. No, I'm going to go with actual Lebanon. Don't rain on my parade, Scott.
Could you imagine, Gavin, incorporating your paintball extravaganza with paintball extravaganza French? Like, could you imagine that?
Oh my God! No one would listen to the show. They would just that's all we would be saying. Beardy McBeardington has a good comment. He says, "What about Costa Rica? If it's truly an international show, why can't we go to Costa Rica?"
No objection from me. Some sun, some beach, tropics. Yeah, I may attend the show, but you may find me on the beach, all inclusive potentially.
We have a good suggestion in the house, and I don't know if I enjoy this suggestion, but Bertop says, "What about having it at my house?" Technically, we had paintball extravaganza this year at my house because we broadcasted and did our paintball show. Aaron Dill is telling us about his favorite Van Halen song. Yeah. So I couldn't think of Van Halen. God damn it. Panama.
I'm rescuing you all evening.
You
It
are.
just started.
Gavin, stop carrying him.
Okay, yes.
Let him
yeah.
fall.
Ooh, what about Anchorage, Alaska, too? I just saw that as well. That'd be a nice place to go in February.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, I don't know. Those comments about being around Michigan and Indiana make a lot of sense for proximity to those companies. It would suck for the Californian and some of the warmer climates to come up there in the middle of winter. But again, you're on a trade show floor all day. It's not like you're getting out very often.
I'm sorry. I just want to add one last location in there.
Yeah.
How about B and Mike Paxton's house?
Oh, in Montana.
I've seen the pictures, and the view
Missoula.
out there is outstanding. And I'm pretty sure they got a lot of yard. So maybe just set up in their front yard.
And if we work it well enough, we could become extras on Yellowstone.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
Play
go.
some old school lawn darts.
Just have Joe in the background.
But if we're in Montana, it's in the middle of the winter, you can be damn sure you've got all the attention of the attendees because they're not going outside.
That's true.
They're going to stay there the entire time.
I guess you want to be somewhere where there's not a lot of distractions either. You want to keep everybody sort of centralized so they're not, traveling and sightseeing too much. So I think maybe you want to look for an area. Even Buffalo. I don't know what. I know they look for. Part of the deciding point is as far as labor laws and non-union places, because it costs less to move products in and out. So I think that's a consideration. So
Buffalo would love to have the business. Whenever we've traveled out of that airport, they're so happy. I think Buffalo is the happiest airport we've ever been to because they are happy to have people coming through it. I don't know why, but I think Joe and I specifically have deemed Buffalo to be the happiest airport in the world.
I think
Where was the other one that we made comment, Joe? We went to, was it Extravaganza? Where did we go? And we were in an airport. I believe Josh was there. Maybe Matt was there. And everybody was like super, super friendly. Maybe he was coming out of Baltimore from Paintball Extravaganza a few years ago. Do you remember that airport?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe it was Baltimore, but they were the friendliest bunch of people. Yeah. So there you go. So there's hopefully a couple good ideas there, ladies and gentlemen, for the organizers of Paintball Extravaganza. Oklahoma City is central and boring, says Ryan Sexy.
They have good steak.
Yeah.
I bet they do.
There you go.
I want to get me a porterhouse.
Ooh, Utah would be great. Steve Abar says no distractions there, but I think that'd be a cool place to go.
Utah's dry though, right? I can't broadcast dry.
Yeah, that's true. So thank you all of you guys who are joining us on Facebook and YouTube. If you guys hit that like and share button, that would be cool. Or just comment. Let us know where you're watching from and let us know that you're here. It's always nice to see you guys.
A Mutt road trip. I wouldn't. That thing. I don't drive it over 40 mile an hour or 60 kilometers. It starts to shake.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Chica Estrada says, good evening, everybody. Hey. So, nice to see you guys. Rick from Paintball Extrava, hopefully that gives you a couple ideas on where to look. The other option is if it's going to be a colder climate, maybe wait till... see, you want it in February, because as soon as the weather gets better, you want to be operating your business, not being traveling.
The other option you can do is just head on over to Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken's website and look at all the cities in which have a location.
Or Jackson's. Let's find a Jackson's somewhere.
Yeah.
Detroit has a Gus's, and they've got a good Mexican town. Detroit's got lots of good eateries.
Yeah. Ryan McGee's going to get the last comment on this. He says, hashtag Paintball Extravaganza French Lick. There we go. All right.
Lisa Weaver says George Hay's still on the way home from Living Legends. No Hay? No way.
That's why it seems a little off tonight.
I like that. No Hay, no way.
You got to hashtag that.
There we go.
No Hay, no way.
Hey, if you guys haven't seen the iconic Paintball Teams documentary series that's out on Paintball Media, head on over to their website and sign up to be a Patreon member so you can get not only that series, you can get the documentary of Tim. You can get the history of paintball on there. Definitely well worth a couple bucks, so go check that out now. A couple things to worry about, guys. Save the date. Here's the list of all the Mission Masters games for 2021. So make sure you guys are there. Speaking of the Command Bros, May 29th and 30th, make sure you guys get signed up. So you guys get a chance to play with them for the Command Bros Wars. Look at that. Fallout, August 28th and 29th. Speaking of George Hay, if you guys are going to play that, make sure you guys sign up for the George Hay side. Or you can lose. I mean, it's your choice. And last but not least, Can You Trust Yourself? Sleeper Cell, May 22nd, 23rd. That's this upcoming weekend at Matt's Outback Paintball. And that's not in French Lick. That's in Coventry. So, cool. Check those out. So lots to get to on the show tonight. We have a vault. We're going to have mail time. We have the top we're going to get to. We have custom gear, prices right, and much more. But before we do that, every week, guys, we send you away to watch a Vault segment. And this week's a special one, so make sure you guys check it out. And we're going to welcome George, to the show. Now it can begin. Nice to see you, sir. Awesome. So we'll let you guys go. Have a watch, and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, it's Joe from Flaggers Paintball. Each week we go back in history, back into the early days of paintball, and we show you something from my vault. Today's a little different. We're not showing something from my vault, we're showing something from my garage. Many of you have asked, what's in the garage, what's behind all the stuff. This is my M151A2 military utility tactical truck. It replaced the M38A1 Jeep as we know it that was introduced in World War II, and these were made from 69 to 1982. They were replaced by the Humvee. So this one's pretty cool. It's stock. It certainly has no creature comforts. There's no GPS, no satellite radio, no cup holders, no seat belts. Often these were retrofitted with a roll cage to protect the driver and passengers in the event of a rollover. This one's pretty cool. It's got four-wheel independent suspension. It's pretty stock. When the U.S. military decommissioned these, most of them were cut into quarters, and several that you see around now are welded together. This one is an uncut version, so it's pretty neat. These were made, several variations of this, where there's a FAV, fast attack vehicle. There's an ambulance version. Many of these were outfitted with tow rocket launchers, M60s, ambulance versions. The Marines had firefighting versions. You can get a snorkel kit for deep water fording. There's a heater kit. I have a soft top for this, so it's kind of cool. I can put it on, and I have doors as well if I wish. But this is sort of my summer driving. I haven't had much time to drive it, but during a pandemic, it's a great opportunity to get out and do a little bit of zipping around. Sort of like pewing, but it's a zip. But anyway, thanks for watching Behind the Bunker every week, and I hope you enjoyed this segment of From the Vault, where we go back in time, back into the early days of stuff. And this is my 74 Mutt. So see you soon. That was my uncut Mutt, military utility tactical truck, 1/4 ton, replaced the Jeep, and is the predecessor to the Humvee. So it's kind of cool. It's fun to drive. I went out for a little spin today. I had to run some local errands, so I kept the speed below 30 mile an hour or 50 kilometers an hour. So it was a safe drive. There's no seatbelts or anything. So
did anybody thank you for your service?
No, but I had a couple people drove by and went like, cool, that kind of stuff. So it's you can't be in that and not drive around and smile. So
if you were to wash and wax that, do you have like a flat wax? Because every wax I've ever used has like a nice sheen to it. How do you keep that thing looking so? You can get a matte wax that's specially designed for matte finishes. So it's the Kark matte finish.
Matt on Mutt action.
Matt on Mutt action. Matt on uncut Mutt.
This is a new video for Kripnik for next week.
Yes, it is.
He's gonna have his cut off jean shorts out there waxing the Mutt.
Steve says your kidneys are good if you've never been in the Mutt. Man, my Jeep, it's so smooth because it has four-wheel independent suspension. You can hit all the bumps and it's smooth. You can put a coffee cup on just on the floor and drive around and it won't spill. It's that smooth of a ride.
Beardy McBeardenton has a question for you, Joe. He says, is it a 24-volt electrical system?
It is 24 volt. And what's kind of neat about for anyone that's never been in the military or doesn't have experience with military vehicles, most everything in the military is 24 volts. Like a Jeep or a tank or a Humvee or a deuce and a half. So I have this cable, it's called a slave cable, and there's an adapter. I'll show you one day on a video. There's an adapter on the side. You unscrew it and you plug your slave cable in to your running vehicle and plug the slave cable into the other vehicle that won't start, and it'll turn over. It's like a booster cable adapter built right in, so you don't have to go with jumper cables. Just have an adapter, it plugs into the side of both vehicles, and away you go. It's pretty cool.
Well, now I think you've teased it for next week.
Yes, I'll do a 24. I'll do a slave cable demo.
Very good.
Mail time.
Mail time. Mail time. Mail time.
The mail's here.
It's mail time, ladies and gentlemen, where I get to rip open my sack and read some of the correspondence that you have sent in. It is a little light this week, but that is okay. If you have additional questions, you can pop it into one of the chats, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. The first one comes to us from the Instagram worlds, and it is Alexis Lawson 86. Or Alex Lawson 86. Do you think Automags will ever make a comeback like the Autococker did? I'd love to see a mechanical and electro version come out. Automags, will they make a comeback? Did they ever go away? Let's throw around the horn. Start with you, Joshua.
They most definitely have not gone away, and you can still purchase brand new ones from automag.com. Or sorry, airgunsdesigns.com.
But you have to admit, whether you like cockers better than mags, there's more of a popularity between the autocockers over the automags. Like, just there's more of them out there. I don't, but I think he's right. Like, there's a lot of guys who own automags, but don't use them on a regular. Like, you just don't see them very often. Do you think you'll see them start bringing them out of their gear bags and start using them?
I would hope so.
So I think it's a regional thing, because I had Crown Point automags and mini mags, in the early 90s. But we didn't get autocockers. Autocockers weren't really up here. I think it's a very much a regional. An autococker was more of a California thing, and an automag was from the Midwest to the East Coast. From our perspective, the automag sort of came in right after the Bushmaster. The 68 Special was really one of the first functioning semi-automatics, and then the automag sort of came in, after that. But we didn't have any cockers up here until too easily in the early mid 2000s.
Yeah. It's like
shut your mouth, Bob Spitzer. Automags can die a slow death. Just shut your mouth.
He's just getting pickled slowly in his hot tub right now, I bet. I think on your note with regional, Shockers, Ions, Epiphanies, all of that were really big SP8s or SP1s in our area, because Smart Parts is only a few hours from us on the other side of the border, and this whole side of the, this whole eastern seaboard was I'm not going to say flooded, but it was very popular, very predominant. And I don't know if that was like that all over the country, but there was a time where that seemed to be in everybody's hands, those guns. So I don't know.
Colin Cooper says we had VM68s or PMI 3s, and then I had that Car 68 AT, that one that looked like the M16 made by Protein Products. They were made for the Rangers and the SEALs for training, so that's kind of cool.
Just to go back 10 minutes ago, Rick Chard from Paintball Extravaganza is in the live chat. He says, thanks, guys, for the suggestions for 2021. Actually looking at a couple of them, and some areas are already filled for February, and they're really proud the world's opening up and jack prices up. Hope to have a selection the 1st of June. So, yeah, hopefully some of the places we mentioned. The other place that would be really good would be Toronto, Ontario.
No, that's not great for us.
No, it's not good for us.
Garbage restaurants, and it's super expensive.
I mean, yes, Americans can come over and live like kings here with
Well,
their
that's
money,
just
but,
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Until they have to purchase gas.
But getting back to the whole cocker discussion, I think with autocockers, there was just far more add-ons, far more things to do to it. I think it just became a little more popular for that matter, and there was it was picked up by well, let's face it, when who was it that bought them at the time? K1 or K2.
K2.
They were in big box stores. They had their trilogy series, and they marketed the heck out of those. So, whether you like autocockers or over automags or not, they just was far more autocockers than there were automags produced. But again, those that like automags like them for a reason, you know. So
I love both, and I mean I switched over to TMC for the last couple of seasons, but the only reason why I moved away from my 68 Classic was I broke the elbow and I just was too lazy to track one down. Right? So
I have some elbows.
then I may buy that, and it'll be this season. I'll be back to the 68 then, the Classic.
But it's funny, we talked about last week on our show, like what would be your final gun, and we all kind of said, well, we really don't want a final gun because we keep switching and moving to something better and shinier and faster and whatever, right? So I don't know. I think maybe autocockers may be pushing back a bit, and you're going to see some guys getting into like EMEX and, you know, shocker, you know, mechanical shockers and stuff now to keep up with the old school play. And for all those people that are coming back into the market who haven't played paintball since the autococker automag days, again, there's far more people with autocockers. So I think you're just going to still see that being more predominant.
I do want to point out Nebnella's chat or comment in the chat: hot rod versus tuner car. If you just wanted to pull it out of the box versus tinkering with it and upgrading it and making it look fancy. Yeah, great point.
But even out of the box with an autococker, you could short stroke it. That would be the worst thing that you could do to it. But I mean, you could play with it, and you really didn't have to do anything. But those screws and adjustment points were far too tempting for the average person to not play with them. At least with an automag, you kind of had to do a little more finesse to mess it up.
I made a new hashtag Leds has a nice gun. Then Colin Cooper, several comments down, says, I'm excited to get into the Eclipse MG100.
Yeah. We keep calling it the MG100, but technically it's the
EMF
EMF 100, isn't it?
Eclipse Mag.
That's the exact same marker I'm looking for in my mailbox every week. But
I know
postage from overseas.
Every time I see a FedEx truck or a UPS truck on my street, I run out like the ice cream truck. Ice cream man.
Yeah. We're now like the Sally Struthers telethon. Leds is just tuned out. He's
I know.
I'm not even sure he's listening anymore on a Tuesday when he's in the shop because, you know, all of our constant, well, I will say my constant begging, damn it, Leds, do something for me. Send me a damn EMF 100. All right, we're going to shift over to the next question. It comes to us from Travis Overshot Podcast. And he says, where should you have been this weekend? Living Legends or Woodsball World Cup? Yeah, some great events simultaneously happening this weekend. And selfishly, or enviously, we're looking across the board and thinking, "Damn, wish we could have been there." So, if you could have chosen, where would you have gone?
Target.
Yeah, for us Canadians, getting to the States is pretty exciting. It wouldn't have just been the event that we would have did. It would have been a Target and a Trader Joe's and a bunch of other necessities that we just don't get up here.
But of the two events, where would you where'd you show up?
I think Living Legends. Only if I had to choose, only because it's more of a scenario game. Woodsball is great. I don't know. But there were so many great people at Woodsball. I don't know. Son of a gun, Josh, you have an easy one for this?
Yeah, I was looking at the names that were going to be at the Woodsball World Cup and some of the teams that were put together. I hands down would have been there.
Yeah. Well, Orr was there, and Kay was there, and every old school baller in the world seemed to be there. Who was at Living Legends then?
Everyone else.
I guess.
George Hay, for one.
That's true. Well, okay. Well, that just knocked off. See, that evens out Orr and Kay.
He's a living legend all in his own right.
That's right.
His beard's legendary.
So I would have gone the alternative to my friend Joshua. I think I would have been Legends. That looked like an amazing time from some of the broadcasts I've seen from our friends, the Command Bros. Ricked up!
Did you say I was your friend?
Yes.
What did he do?
Absolutely.
So nice of you.
Bricked up! Yeah, great coverage. I think that would have been a really great time. So I was envious and salivating, waiting to get to an event. And I think that would have been the event to be. Hanu, it would have been great to see one of his productions and to be there. So next year, buddy. Next year we'll be there.
Yeah. Charles Holden's World Cup, Woodsball World's Cup was amazing. Yeah, I mean, they both would have been. That would have been a hard one to go to, or a hard one to choose from. Yeah.
Joe, would you have any leanings either direction?
Whoever has the most vaccinated people.
That's your threshold, your criteria, right?
Yeah, that's my
He's taking a
criteria.
survey before he leaves.
Yeah.
All right, next question, if we can move on, comes to us from Sean Leonard in Canada, and wants to know some more mail time goodness. Not in my backyard / NIMBYism in paintball. Has NIMBYism slowed or interfered with the growth of paintball in Ontario? But I guess we could expand that to your region or wherever you are in the world. Has NIMBYism impacted paintball? Key
NIMBYism?
findings, keeping, yes.
Oh, not in my backyard. Sorry. I don't know. Gavin, let's get you to start.
You know, it's a challenging time, at least here regionally. So I certainly hope that people are not in the NIMBY, not my backyard syndrome, because they want to see businesses grow and expand. So Ontario, Canada in general has been impacted greatly by COVID. And, hopefully we need an economic growth and rebuilding, and hopefully paintball is included in that. So, it is a great outdoor recreational activity, as we all know. You can socially distance. It's going to be great for physical and mental health. So I hope that is not so present as fields are still trying to rebuild and grow. So, I don't know. I'm hoping it's not present.
At the government level, there seems to be a large push for socially distanced, but yet outdoor recreation right now. And I think paintball fits that bill to a T. I mean, you're already wearing a mask. Okay, it's not really a mask, but you are distanced from people. I do think, with the government's help and minimal things being open right now, paintball should be on the rise. I think it should be looked at as something that's an asset right now. Because what else can people do? I mean, you don't want them all going to the same park, to walk the trails and play on the equipment. You don't want them going to the same tennis court, stuff like that. So, start opening up places like the golf courses and paintball fields, and yeah. Bob, we can't talk about that. We can talk about that in the next couple of weeks, maybe.
Any other thoughts, Joshua? Do you think at least there's more recognition or acceptance of paintball, so the neighbors will have less NIMBYism?
Yeah, it's weird because if I go by my experiences, I know one of my neighbors is nuts. So, we have a hard enough time with the water guns, so definitely not paintball. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, shifting over to a next question. Oh, there's two more from my good friend Ryan McGee, who has nothing to say or contribute to the show.
Hashtag extravaganza French lick.
That's right. All right, Ryan, here you go. Strap in and make sure your ears are open because we're going to answer this. Question number one from Ryan McGee is, what do you guys think are the best action cams for recording gameplay for MagFed players who might have a cam on their marker, Picatinny rail system on their mask, and for non-MagFed players, what would a good option be? You guys have much experience with action cameras, and what would you suggest?
Well, Inception's design, as well as a lot of other places, manufacture barrel cams. You could probably 3D print it as well. So, barrel. What am I trying to say? Barrel adapters for like a GoPro or action cam. So, you really don't have to look at what camera to choose. You can find all kinds of adapters for stuff like that. But if you really want something inexpensive, get yourself an old GoPro. If you want to publicize anything to Facebook or YouTube, you don't necessarily need it anything better than 1080 anyways. So a Hero 4, which goes locally in Canada for like $150 on any sort of marketplace, get one of those. They're fantastic. The battery life is good. There's tons of accessories for it. I don't even know what else you would grab, to be honest with you.
Well, if you go by some of the people we know who do a lot of action cam photos or videos, you'll note that when they're out, they've got at least 3 or 4 cameras on them at once. So most guys will have one mounted to their mask. They'll have something on their marker. Sometimes they have something on a scope. And then more often than not, they have a cell phone with them.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have Todd and I been in a bunker and Wolves come in and pulled out a cell phone, right?
Well, I think you need multiple angles for
Yeah,
sure.
for
to
sure.
Make it interesting.
Multiple angles, and it helps you get so much more footage. Because I see people, they're like, yeah, I'm going to get a gun cam, put it on my gun. It's like, you realize that after playing it for an entire day, you might have 30 seconds worth of footage.
Yeah, you got to shoot a lot of footage
only-
to edit it down.
Yeah.
And the
it's
last
only
thing
30
anybody
seconds.
wants to see is grass or bushes as you're running. Right? If it's mounted on your gun? Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting for the viewers. So the more cameras I think you can have, the better. Just to create that story.
The great thing too, like let's say Josh and I were playing together, or a couple of us are out there. If we each had action cams, and let's say we're behind a bunker, really not doing anything, but the buddy beside you is doing something, turn and film him, and then offer that footage to him later. Because there's nothing better than actually having, like, as we're talking about here, multiple angles of someone playing. Like, having a barrel cam is great for about a second, and it gets real boring real fast. Same thing with a goggle camera. It doesn't really show what you're showing, but you might catch better things with different angles. Something else I've been watching a lot of is these 360 cams, and they're great because they capture everything around you, but everything is so distorted. It's like when you first got a GoPro and everything was so fish-eyed. I don't know if I like the 360 technology yet. I don't think it's there yet, but once they master that, it'll be pretty cool. But again, it's then editing the right shot, and you know, the human eye picks up better things when you're focusing on it, and just because you got it on film doesn't mean anyone's really going to get it. And the other thing is, if you're gonna create content, narrate what's happening. So if I'm watching it, you know what happened because you were there, but like, explain yourself. You know, explain what's happening or what I should be focusing on. Some of the guys that do good editing too, they draw circles and then they zoom in on that, and you know, you can see what's happening. But yeah.
Well, there's a number of suggestions in the chats, each chat as well. But Skibo says a tac cam as well. So I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I'm just looking for something, an image that's not washed out, or it's that fisheye view too.
Yeah.
I want something that looks similar to what I would view in normal life. So
There's a company actually in Kitchener that makes visor cam for hockey, but I've reached out to them on a number of occasions to see if they would get us some, because they're missing the whole airsoft paintball market, but they make for hockey helmets and hockey visors. So
yeah. Neb Nellis says Hedgehog is the best videos. I agree. He's basically, that's where I'm kind of getting my ideas from. I can actually watch some of his videos. They're good.
Barker from UK as well.
Yeah.
Has some great videos.
Yeah. Dwayne King says better to see the foot signals. Yes, absolutely.
But you missed mine, the seal set foot dams.
Yeah, so there you go.
When I play, I like wearing my camera on the back so I can watch in the footage and see which one of you fools don't play at the front.
There you go. In the world of tournament speedball, guys, like, teams will hire a photographer and a videographer to come on the field, much like it's their special wedding day. But what happens is you get footage of your team playing, you're guaranteed pictures of yourself and video footage of yourself, as long as you don't suck that bad. It would be neat to see that if you had like a scenario team or a bunch of you guys going out to play, if you paid that money and had someone videotaping you, you'd get some really good stuff depending on who you got. And if you got someone who did it, has done it before and knows what they're doing, they'll get right in the action. And, just because you're getting shot in your bunker, if a guy's wearing a photography vest and he's out 20 feet from the bunker and zooming in on you, getting some great footage, it would look fantastic. So something that maybe will translate to scenario teams in the future, maybe.
Bobby Dow said someone should make a hopper with a built-in camera. We had to sit through a 45-minute conversation about that one time at Paintball Extravaganza. No way.
Yeah, there's a fellow. We could talk about it. I guess it doesn't matter. If someone gets upset, they get upset. But someone has the IP for goggle cameras as well as hopper cameras, and it would have its own IP and you could live stream from it. And that would all be great, but I mean, there's no difference between that and just mounting a camera to your goggle and mounting one to your gun anyways. But yeah, I don't know. It would be great. Sorry.
I thought you were a taxidermist.
The only great thing about that was the ability of, let's say, Go Sports was covering, an event, and all of the pro players that were on the field, all 10 of them, had one on their gun and one on their goggle, had an individual IP address. And let's say Ollie Lang is running up the tape line, they could switch to his IP, get his camera from his gun or his goggle, and capture that. But the editing on that going live would be so difficult. It would be something you'd have to do in post for sure. But it would be neat. It would be neat.
Great segue into our final question for this evening, Todd.
Oh.
I think it'd be great for both players and referees in tournament paintball to have be different cameras on, right? So the producer can switch back and forth. So Ryan McGee, his final question, and our final question in my sack this evening is, do you think tournament play could benefit from a company like Go Sports equipping certain players with either a microphone, like NFL does with their mic'd up videos, or an action cam to provide an extra angle to appeal to a broader audience? So mic'd up and cameras on maybe your favorite player. What do you think?
Yeah. Didn't Go Sports do that? They had a mic'd up segment, not necessarily on the day of, but they were doing practices. I remember listening to some of those as well. You got to be careful because the average paintball player, when he's all hyped up, he's swearing and cursing and saying things he probably shouldn't. But neat idea for sure. When we were broadcasting some local speedball tournaments for the OPL, Matt and I put audio from the start box into the mixer, and you got a lot of high fives and woohoos and let's do this shit and all these swear words and stuff. And it was neat, but it was the same thing from every team, and it was okay. It added something, but you had to be careful depending on what your audience was. But yeah, and you're not going to censor these guys, not when they're all, especially if they're arguing with a ref. It's great to have a mic on them, but sometimes it's better not to.
I like the realness of it.
Yeah.
Warts and all, right? So if it's the same stuff with each team and it's the same sort of arguments and screaming and motivating each other, I think that's it adds to the authenticity and it adds to the excitement of the game for the viewer. So, I'd like to see more mic'd up, more cameras on players. It would be great.
I like Steve Ibar's comment in the YouTube chat. He says, #BitterJosh. We were talking about Hedgehog and stuff. That's great. Cool. Sorry, was that your last question then, Gavin? Or
that was the final question, my friends. So we can cinch up the sack, and we'll stay tuned next week for more Q&A from you.
Yeah. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you guys tonight about the topic at hand, and I'll post that here in just a second here. But we want to know, do you think paintball is on the rise, or do you think it's on the way out? And we want to watch you guys live in the live chat. So if you guys are watching on YouTube or Facebook now, go ahead and post up your comments. We do have some of your comments on social media today that you had posted, so we'll get to those as well. And I also like to go around the horn and find out what you guys think, and maybe we'll start with that before we get into your comments and see if we can predict what other people are saying. But Josh, what do you think as a whole? Are you thinking paintball's on the rise or on the decline? And let's talk broadly. Let's not talk necessarily right this moment because of the pandemic, but let's be broad and say just, maybe over the course of 2 or 3 years.
We always make mention of the last time we were at Extravaganza and how excited everybody was for paintball to kick in before COVID hit. I really think that meant everything was on the rise for a lot of different reasons. And I was super excited about it because for the first time in a while, I thought, okay, here we go. Like, we're getting into what paintball was, 2006, 2007, kind of in there, where it was like really in kind of a heyday.
Yep.
And I felt like we were slowly getting back to that, which meant it was on the rise, or I guess maybe a better term for it is growing. Because rise to me just seems like it's rising in popularity, not necessarily people playing. Like, if you could say this next season that we're going to have from COVID, there's going to be, across Canada, There's going to be 50,000 less people that play paintball, but the people who do play are going to play more.
Yeah.
Well, does that mean it's on the rise or not? Because it could be just people playing more often than they normally do, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's kind of a double-edged sword. People looking at two different ways, but I do believe paintball was growing,
Yeah.
and it was on the rise certainly before this sort of artificial market crash took place, right?
So Bruce Leipert in the live chat has making comment about how the pandemic and COVID has basically killed paintball. I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate to that point. I think that, when we're talking with all the industry leaders, and especially the field owners, I should really say, field and store owners, their biggest complaint about the lack of attendance with paintball over the last number of years was laser tag, trampoline places, movie theaters, all these other places to give entertainment. Well, what the pandemic unfortunately has done for those industries specifically is annihilated them. Trampoline parks aren't operating anymore. A lot of them have gone under because they're all indoor places and we haven't been able to operate. Same with movie theaters, same with all these other things. So paintball has had more opportunity to breathe, and I think they've had more participation this year, or at least more interest in it this year because of that. And I get local governments have shut people down for certain times and have allowed them other times. But in general, I think this has kind of been a boost for paintball, if you will. And I really don't mean to be brutal, but I think it,
certainly being an outside sport, people I think will be a little less hesitant to join in and become a part of it because they're not stuck inside and close to other mouth breathers. Yeah.
But it's that thing too, right? Like if you take away all the other things to do, you find you go back to what works, right? I don't know, Joe. Am I off my rocker? What are your thoughts?
I think you'll see paintball on a bit of an upswing. We all know it peaked in 2007. Then 2008, the economy went on a downward spiral. But I think you're going to see an upswing. I know it's super busy in the U.S. A lot of people, a lot of demand for product, a lot of demand. I talk to several people. They'd say they're busy in the States. And Canada is usually, they say, 8 to 16 months behind the U.S. So when we come out of this, I think people are going to be looking for something to do. And it was quite evident last year when we finally got open in June. But there were a few many people that were sort of hesitant, a little worried. I think we're getting a lot more people vaccinated. Kids are going to get vaccinated soon. I think you're going to see a lot of that hesitancy go away, and people are just going to be looking to get out and do something. There's not as much to do indoors as there was 18 months ago.
But even if the indoor places started opening again, Joe, after people getting vaccinated, I think people are going to stay farther away from indoor activities than outdoor. I think skiing will take a big boost this year. I think anything that's outdoor will take a boost. But even restaurants are going to have a hard go of things just because of the being indoors and stuff, right?
Like Laser Quest North America's gone. A lot of the escape rooms are closed. The axe throwing places are closed. I think we're almost back, with the exception of Xbox and PlayStation 2, we're almost back to the 1990s where you could go bowling or play paintball or go to a movie. So I'm excited that there's going to be that want and desire to play paintball and do fun things again. People have been cooped up and watching binge watching movies and watching SEAL Team. They want to go out and sort of live that cosplay existence.
It all started when everyone started binge watching Tiger King, and at the beginning of the pandemic. We're going to get to Gavin's thoughts in a moment. We're going to get to all of your thoughts on Instagram and Facebook in the live chat. But before we do that, I want to remind you guys of something. Did you guys know that Planet Eclipse has more championships, new mechanical markers, new electronic markers, new territory, including the new MagFed division? Get Planet Eclipse, ladies and gentlemen, and take on the world.
When the world's greatest players, photographers, and expected parents need the best coverage, most vivid colors, biggest selection, they pull a tab on an EG product. #PopSmoke.
Thick welded seams, stainless steel hardware, multiple color options makes Air Ups the #1 choice for inflatables on and off the field. Made in America by Brent Davis' crew, airups.com.
Dreams fade, ruthless paintball products, colors, sublimation, and craftsmanship never die. On or off the field, Ruthless keeps you fresh. Use the promo code BTB15 for 15% off your order.
Adapt, create, and win. Exalt is in our blood. Make your game boil. Get Exalt, which is available worldwide.
From the beginning, you stumble down a rocky cliff or wade chest deep through a mosquito-infested bog. Now, whether you're sliding into the snake or running and gunning, GI Sports has the gear for you. Now with the Stormer, Basic, Tactical, and Elite.
DLX Technology, guys. True industry innovators with some of the lightest, fastest, and sleekest hardware in paintball. DLX has the power to get to the podium, and holy cow, that's where you want to be. So thank you to all of our sponsors, guys. It may seem like a trite point, but guys, it's them that keeps us on the air, and we have an opportunity to choose who sponsors us, and these are the ones we choose. So if you give them an opportunity for your business, we would greatly appreciate it. Hey, like them, tag them, follow them on social media, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to get back to this topic real quick, and we've got about 5 more minutes before we have to end here, but I do want to get through some of these comments real quick. AES Miller on Instagram said, I think the stimulus checks actually kept paintball industry afloat this year.
Agreed. Agreed.
Maybe. Brecken McBrooney, number 31, says, if paintball was allowed to stay open at full or near full capacities during the lockdowns, I think we would have seen a big pump in growth because people were looking for anything to do to get outside the house. We definitely had said that. And the last one I wanted to bring up that I thought was good on Instagram was Houston Nelson 22 says, the pandemic to me has started a small rise in the paintball community. Every time I get on Reddit, I see used guns going from $50 to $100 more than they were last year. There is no doubt that the demand for any good time items this year has gone through the roof, and that was definitely paintball. And we won't get an opportunity to play Prices Right this week, but you can definitely see in the eBay sales that prices have gone through the roof. So, Gavin, we really didn't get your opinion on this. What are your thoughts on paintball?
I do. Yeah, no, I do believe it's consistent with what everybody else said, and I was going to make the point too. But that stimmy money, right? People had some extra disposable cash, and it seems to be booming in the U.S. And we are looking and salivating, and hoping that we're going to be in the same experience as well. I think paintball is definitely on the increase, on the rise, and that was sort of a throwback to last season when the pandemic sort of opened up a little bit, and there was a lot of brand new faces out there. A lot of people who had never considered paintball before tried it for the first time and are now chomping at the bit to try it for this season, at least in our area. So I see it on the rise. So I'm pretty excited about the season once we get open.
For sure. Any comments on those sheets that you guys have that we should bring up over the last couple of minutes we have here?
I've got 2 really interesting ones.
Yeah.
Well, actually, one's from Tom Palmer. It's a good point. It says, in my opinion, it depends on the field. If the owner is improving things all the time, it'll grow. It's about area development. I kind of like that. James Poole says, well, in the UK, it has now been recognized as a sport. So hopefully on the rise now. That's very interesting. I did not know that they fully recognized it as a sport. I'm hoping now that it comes as a sport, it'll be a little more open to more people playing, very similar to what is here, keeping your gear and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was very interesting.
Gavin, do you have anything on your sheets? Dwayne King says he wants a Roscoe.
I just want to. Can I add one more thing to the about the decline?
It's your segment.
Yeah, thanks. It's kind of interesting. It's very cyclical. The growth thing is very cyclical. And last year, late, I guess before the pandemic started in 2019, we were getting a lot of calls and people wanting to get their markers repaired, and they were asking about piranhas and all these guns, paintball guns that hadn't been used in 10 to 12 years, and that's a really good sign. But it's cyclical. It ebbs and tides, rise and fall, as far as that. But that people are wanting to get out and play paintball, but then they have these archaic markers that there's no parts in the world don't exist. I have some somewhere, but the parts don't exist, and it's not even worth trying to get them going. You're just better to buy a new gun and get going, as opposed to trying to spend all that money and get it fixed.
Yeah. Hey, Colin Cooper in the live chat says, any work on the Tiger Stripe BTB hoodies? Right now, the last I actually talked to the Silk Screener, which was a couple weeks ago, they were having a hard time, surprise, getting the stock. So we're going to wait a little while longer, because when I place an order, I want to be able to fulfill everybody's. And right now, they're short on sizes and colors. So
we need some Flag Raider ones too.
So we're going to wait, I think, at least for another month or two. But the idea is not gone, because I think Josh wants a new one just to wear to weddings. Gavin needs a new one as well. So like we're definitely going to get some. But right now, if the supply is not there, I really can't. So we're just gonna wait a couple months on that.
I have a logo to put on the front of mine in white. Look at that. That's what I want mine to say. Just like
it's
that.
very neat, but something in me just says there might be a little bit of a trademark.
Nah, it's fine.
That was the Flag Raider logo from the 70s. It's fine. It used to be brown and orange. Yeah. So there you go. And is there any BTB patches? Yes, there are. If you send me a DM, I'll let you know what I have left. They're $10 plus whatever shipping. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's what's going to happen. We are being told, Matt keeps texting me that we are at the end of our show. So we're going to end our Facebook live stream. We're going to continue to broadcast over on YouTube and record as our podcast. So because of the time, we're all just going to say goodbye right now. And we'll see you guys on Facebook next Monday. If you're listening to us on our podcast or on YouTube, don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Don't be a freeloader. If you liked what you hear, make sure to hit the share button below. Also follow us on our social media outlets like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, ICQ, and now MySpace. If you want to join the conversation, post your comments and we might read them on the show.
Yeah, there'd be some neat other, like, this company is great because they have, like, you've seen all the colors or all the camos that they have, but it'd be neat, you're right, if there was, like, something different, like a couple of different.
Even if the black on this was like a flat dark earth or a tan,
yeah,
and you left the other color of tan and the green on it, that would.
So the only problem with those hoodies, Josh, is that fabric is its own print. So yeah. I didn't do that. That's what the fabric is, which is why it's so resilient when you're washing them. The only problem with that is if your logo is too busy and not bold, it just gets lost in the washout of the print there. But it seems to work. If we put a dark background around it, I think we can do something there. But BTB thong, says Babs Bisser. Yeah, and they're a lot cheaper because there's not a lot there. Not with the style that we're going with.
I've never worn one before, but I have a feeling they just might be a little too uncomfortable.
I'm going to say lies on that one.
So so banana hammock and thong is the same thing. So technically, you've worn them before. Yeah. So here's a question I was waiting for the after show because I wanted to ask Joe. I know he'd answer this, and Josh, I think both you and Gavin, I'm pretty sure have one. I've been debating on getting a chest rig just to hold either one radio or just a cell phone. What would you guys suggest? Yeah, is there something that you guys are wearing right now that would be good?
Well, I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Well, yes, but under your t-shirt, I see it lumpy. I know your chest rig is there.
This is called the sweater.
If you want to just carry one thing, Gavin and I both have a Condor makes a mini one. It's called the just a chest rig, I think, isn't it, Gavin?
Yes.
But if you want to carry a few other things, the MCR4, it works really well, and you can carry pouches and stuff.
Isn't it the Command chest rig or something like that?
I don't think so. I think it's just chest rig.
But I've got
that was a few years back, though.
Yeah, I really want, okay, I know this sounds terrible, but you have to admit more and more people are taking their cell phone on the field. I want something that I could still wear a pod pack with, but something I could just put my cell phone in. And maybe if there's like a mission briefing or something, if we're playing a big game, or maybe a pack of almonds or a granola bar, but something.
Now you're talking.
You know what I mean?
Well,
maybe some jerky, a jerky pocket.
Well, Joe has his. Well, it's a Molly system, right? So he has a cell phone clip. Do you not, Joseph?
Yeah,
Or you can,
they
it out, so-
don't make it anymore.
Okay.
They don't make that clip for these anymore. Todd, you might be able to get a Molly clip for the phone pouch you have.
I do. Well, it's not a Molly clip, but it's there is a clip.
It's called the Ops. It's called the Ops chest rig on Condor.
Yeah. Okay.
I just get one of those.
We'll have to look at that. I do. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll give you a
get
deal.
Like one of those bandoliers as well, right? Which is
Yeah.
a lot of guys use as well. So it's you gotta feel around and see what's gonna
I
work.
can't
and
wear a
be comfortable
bandolier
for you.
because it sounds too much like a man's ear. And
No,
I'm
it's
more of a
actually
bro
called
guy.
it's called the modular chest panel.
There you go.
The MCR3. The MCR4 is bigger, but you might not get an MCR3 unless you special order. So you might just need the other one, which is fine.
Babs Bisser in the live chat says, "Why don't I just wear a fanny pack? I already have too much of a bulge down there. I can't wear a fanny pack. It has to be on my chest. Has
Ain't
to be
nothing
up.
wrong with that, Spitzer.
Look down at yours.
don't listen.
I know you're in the hot tubs. It's got to be shrinking right now.
Bad.
Yeah. So there you go. So that was my one question.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good question.
The other question, this is way off topic to paintball. At what point in time do you guys replace your under trousers? We were talking about them a couple weeks ago. How many holes is too many holes? And I know that Gavin's single, so it might be different. Joe and Josh are both married. At what point in time are you throwing out the fellows?
I may be married, but I'm not a barbarian.
Yeah, you get a hole in it once they wear out.
Okay, but we all have a pair of pants or jeans or shorts that have a hole in that you still wear because they're comfy, right?
No.
Socks
Yeah,
socks
that's
can't
true.
have one hole in it because if your toe's sticking out of a hole, that's a whole other problem.
All
Right.
socks have a hole in it. That's how you get your foot in it.
Good one, Gavin.
Jesus, that's what we should end the podcast on right there.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So I don't know. I like how small of. See, Bob says any hole's too small. I don't know. I disagree. If they're comfy, they're comfy. What if they discontinued your under trousers and you can't get them anymore? How many holes then are too many?
I don't know. It's just nonsense talk.
Yeah.
I love how angry Joe is. It's like, I've got garbage to take out, damn it. Let's get to something
Okay,
interesting.
but in my
Holes in
defense,
people-
Joe has been seen wearing toe shoes, and that just gives me the
That is
heebie-jeebies.
true.
That gives
Okay,
me the
I'll-
heebie-jeebies.
I'm Team Todd on this one.
they're my water shoes.
I know, but how could you have something between your toes? It's like when you
they're
have a hole
weird
in your
and
sock and your toe
they're
sticks
long
out.
and arduous and they're hard to get on, but they're just
Yeah.
But they're good
Oh,
for
so
when
that's
I,
the story. Joe put them on once and he hasn't taken them off.
No,
since.
they're in the garage. I wear them when we went rafting or kayaking. I wore them because I knew that I'm got to get out of the.
For that
gotta
purpose,
get out of
I
the
don't
boat,
mind.
gotta
Like, I
out of
get
the boat.
that. But
I
when
don't
you're
wear
caught
them
at a
around. I don't wear them to the mall.
Okay, but I saw a guy at the grocery store, and it wasn't Joe, but it was a guy at the
Okay,
grocery
well, I
store
don't
wearing
wear
them, and it
them
was
to the
like,
grocery
why?
Do you remember that, Joseph, that guy who wore those shoes to the field and played in the woods and had a thorn go right through the soles of it
Yeah,
into his soul?
yeah, I
Like-
remember that.
I'm not talking his foot, his soul.
His soul, yes.
It killed him.
Yeah, Bob wants to know what toe shoes are. So toe shoes are like a
Vibram, they're Vibram shoes.
yeah, but every toe has its own little place. So it looks like you're barefooted, but you're wearing a shoe. Yeah.
I'll tag him on Instagram.
I'm sure you'll like that. For on his Instagram and on his Facebook for the next 6 months, he's going to have toe shoe sponsored ads.
They're called Vibram 5 Fingers.
And Colin Cooper agrees with you, Joseph. He says that you've got to try out the toe shoes. Awesome. Are you kidding me right now?
All right, I don't know if I can ban off Facebook, but if I or YouTube here, but if I can, Colin, you're gone after that comment.
I just
shame.
tagged you, Bob.
Did you guys know? Did you know that instead of wearing these 5-fingered Vibram shoes, you can actually just go outside without shoes on?
No, can you get your feet dirty?
Yeah, today was the first day where we had good enough weather where I accidentally wore my inside flip-flops out and was caught at the grocery store. I looked down and I go, oh, I still have my flip-flops on. But it was so beautiful out. I was wearing shorts and a T-shirt. Thank God for spring weather.
Indoor flip-flops.
Yeah.
I wear flip-flops in the house.
I do.
Yeah. Well, we've got pets, right? And we don't have any carpet in our house, so like the smallest minute particle of dust, you feel it on the bottom of your feet, right? So, yeah.
But I need the extra cushion as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Josh, you're younger than all of us, right? So, our knees take some damage.
He's still got all that young guy cartilage in his legs.
That's right.
You guys definitely sound old. Holy soul.
Remember when we had cartilage?
Flip flops.
Alexa, let there be light.
Oh, Santos. He comes in to see us at the end of the show and says, I have Fila toe shoes. Oh,
Why is this
Santos.
a thing, guys? Like, yes. Why do you guys enjoy this?
I
Why is
would
this
give
a
you
thing?
more credit if you wore Crocs than if you wore toe shoes. And I know George Hay just perked up right now.
He almost drove
He's
off
sponsored.
the road. Poor guy.
Oh, gosh.
All right, I got to go take my garbage
Yeah,
out.
I'm with Bob Spisser on this one. How about a vacuum? It's called Roomba.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't have that Bab Spisser hot tub money. All right, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we end the program? Gavin, thank you for being with us tonight.
It's great to be here, folks, and thank you for joining us. And make sure you hit like, subscribe on the way out as well.
Yeah. And Josh.
Yeah, everything Gavin said, and if you can, please leave a review. Unless you're putting 1 star, then just don't worry about it.
Save it for Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you to Joe Kimson from Flaggers Paintball.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in this week to Beautiful Behind the Bunker. We'll see you next Monday night at 8 p.m. where we broadcast live on Facebook, and get your toe shoes.
Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. And be safe.